The world stood uneasy in the late 1930s. Across Europe, borders trembled under the weight of ambition and fear. The scars of the Great War had not yet faded, yet the echoes of marching boots were heard again. Germany, under Adolf Hitler, had rebuilt its might, reorganizing the Wehrmacht, the Luftwaffe, and the Kriegsmarine under a banner of renewed pride and ruthless expansion. In September 1939, the calm was shattered. The 4th and 10th Armies of the German Wehrmacht advanced across the Polish border under the command of General Gerd von Rundstedt and General Johannes Blaskowitz. The air roared with Stuka dive bombers, sirens screaming across the dawn. From East Prussia and Silesia, armored divisions, the 19th Panzer Corps, led by Heinz Guderian, drove forward in a lightning war, the Blitzkrieg, a new form of warfare that stunned the world with its speed and precision. In Warsaw, Polish soldiers of the 10th Mechanized Cavalry Brigade fought with desperate courage, but within weeks they were overwhelmed. On the 17th of September, Soviet forces entered from the east under the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, an agreement that secretly divided Poland between Moscow and Berlin. By early October, Poland had fallen. The map of Europe was redrawn once more. The world reacted with disbelief. Britain and France, bound by treaty, declared war on Germany on September 3rd. In London, Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain's voice was solemn as he addressed the nation. Yet the British Expeditionary Force, composed of the 1st Infantry Division, 48th Division, and support battalions, could do little but wait behind the Maginot Line as a strange silence descended on Western Europe. The soldiers called it the Phony War. Through the winter of 1939, German U-boats prowled the North Sea. The Royal Navy's destroyers, HMS Cossack, HMS Afridi, and the cruisers of the Home Fleet guarded the Atlantic lifelines. Yet Hitler's plan stretched northward. In April 1940, Operation Weserübung was launched, the invasion of Denmark and Norway. German paratroopers of the 1st Fallschirmjäger Division seized key airfields near Oslo and Trondheim. British and French troops landed at Narvik, but after weeks of bitter mountain fighting, they were forced to withdraw. Norway fell by June. The following month, a new storm gathered in the west. On May 10, 1940, Germany struck at France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The 7th Panzer Division under Erwin Rommel and the 19th under Guderian pierced through the Ardennes, bypassing the Maginot Line. The French 9th and 2nd Armies, entrenched and unprepared for mobile warfare, were encircled near Sedan. The British Expeditionary Force, trapped along the northern coast, retreated to Dunkirk. There, under Operation Dynamo, more than 300,000 British and French troops were evacuated by a flotilla of warships and civilian vessels. The Luftwaffe bombed the beaches, but the little ships of Dunkirk became a symbol of defiance. Churchill called it a miracle of deliverance. Yet France could not hold. On June 14th, German troops of the 18th Army marched into Paris. The tricolor was lowered. Europe had fallen under the shadow of the swastika. In the months that followed, Hitler turned his gaze to Britain. Operation Sea Lion, the planned invasion of the island, was prepared. Across the Channel, the RAF's fighter command, led by Air Chief Marshal Hugh Dowding, readied for battle. The Spitfires of No. 74 Squadron and Hurricanes of No. 303 Polish Squadron rose daily into the gray English sky to face the Luftwaffe's relentless assault. The summer of 1940 became known as the Battle of Britain. The Luftwaffe's Heinkel bombers, escorted by Messerschmitt Bf-109s, struck London, Coventry, and Portsmouth, but Britain stood firm. Never in the field of human conflict, Churchill declared, was so much owed by so many to so few. By October, the invasion was postponed. The skies over England remained free. Yet, the war was far from over. In the Balkans, Italian armies under Mussolini faltered in Greece, forcing Germany to intervene in April 1941. The 12th Army under General List stormed through Yugoslavia and into Athens. By June, Europe was under Axis control from the Arctic to the Aegean. Then, on June 22, 1941, Hitler launched the greatest military invasion in history, Operation Barbarossa. 3 massive army groups, north under Lieb, center under Bock, and south under Rundstedt, crossed into the Soviet Union. Over 3 million German soldiers advanced across the plains of Eastern Europe, supported by the 1st Panzer Group, the 2nd, and the 3rd, a force unmatched in scale. In Minsk, Smolensk, and Kiev, entire Soviet armies were encircled, yet the Red Army endured. As the Wehrmacht approached Moscow, winter came, the harshest in decades. German divisions froze on the front lines, their engines stalled, their supplies cut thin. The dream of a swift victory vanished into the snow. And the beginning of World War II had come full circle, from the invasion of Poland to the gates of Moscow. Nations had fallen, empires had risen, and the world stood on the edge of total war. And as 1941 ended, one truth became clear. This was not the war to end all wars. This was the war that would decide the fate of humanity.